Hey, what's good, everybody? I'd like to welcome you all to a brand new episode of the Boombox Guru. I'm your host, LB. So, on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite heavy metal bands of all time. I discovered these guys when I was a little kid. They used to sit up and watch VH1 back when it was actually a good channel. And they used to show their videos all the time on pop up video. And I thought their videos were cool. I thought they were funny. I thought the music was good. And they were one of the earliest bands that really kind of started my journey on getting into more like hard rock and heavy metal music. So the band I'm talking about today is Twisted Sister, man. And I don't really think that I need to give a whole spiel on who this band is. Basically, if you've ever heard the songs "We're Not Gonna Take It," "I Wanna Rock," then you know who Twisted Sister is. Although there is more to them than just those two songs. Um, One of the greatest heavy metal bands to come out of the 1980s. Although they spent 10 years prior to that slugging it out in the New York bar scene, which, they were selling out concert halls before they were even a signed band. So just an amazing band. Everybody knows Dee Snider, the front man. Of course, you have JJ French, who was the founder of the band. You have Eddie Ojeda, one of the lead guitarists. You had AJ Pero, who passed away back in 2015 as the drummers, and you had as the drummer, and you had Mike Mendoza on bass. Classic lineup right there, man. That really just dominated the mid '80s, man. So without further ado, let's get into these albums. So I'm gonna start with the first one, which is the band's debut album, Under the Blade, released in 1982, and this is the Armory Records reissue, which this record has the original mix of the album from the Secret Records version that was released back in '82, but it's remastered. So if you can get your hands on this version, there's actually a couple of versions from the Armory issue. This is like the standard edition. There's also another one that has two discs, which has like a live concert that they did. I think the Reading Festival in England. It has that on DVD. So I have like the standard edition, which is cool because that whole Reading performance, you can find that on YouTube. But man, when I first discovered this album, which was probably about 14 or 15 years ago, uh, I was blown away at the heaviness of this record because I was only familiar with Stay Hungry. And when I discovered this album, I was like, whoa, I didn't know Twisted Sister could get that heavy, man. This is a balls to wall heavy metal album. I mean, that's all it is, pure unadulterated hard rock and heavy metal. Mainly influenced by British heavy metal because they recorded this album over in London, overseas. They actually didn't record it in the States because they had a hard time getting a record deal in the United States, which I don't know why. But well, they kind of explained it in the documentary, but I really don't get it, man. They were a great band. They're a great band. But anyway, they went overseas and recorded this album, and it was produced by Pete Way of UFO. Of course, Pete Way I think recently passed away. I don't know how much production, hands-on production, he had to do with it. I think the album was mainly produced by the band members, but Pete Way, they kind of brought his name in there as a way to give the band more credibility. So I think he might have been a producer only in name, but such a great record right here, man. Lots of hard rock, bluesy numbers on here. Uh, Lots of fast speed metal numbers on this record as well, man. Probably one of the fan favorites on this record is "What You Don't Know Sure Can Hurt You," which Twisted Sister, up until they decided to stop performing, that's always been their opening song at live shows. You have songs like "Sin After Sin," which is a great fast speed metal number. "Shoot 'Em Down," a really cool balls to wall hard rock number, one of my favorites on here. And I can't end this without talking about "Destroyer." "Destroyer" is probably one of the most fan favorite songs on this record. A very slow, doomy song, heavy, heavy riffs, man. I mean, just an awesome song. When I first heard that song, I could not believe that this was Twisted Sister. Because, like I said, I was only used to Stay Hungry Twisted Sister. But when I heard that slow, doomy riff and, Dee's passionate vocals, man, it just blew me away. Easily one of the best songs on this record. The title track, Under the Blade, another fast tempo speed number, which that song actually got Twisted Sister on the Filthy 15 that Tipper Gore put together. And the song is actually about the guitar player Eddie Ojeda having throat surgery, and the song is D talking about him going under the blade, under the knife. But Tipper Gore, idiotically, she attributed the song to S&M, sadomasochism, which is stupid. And that was why D. Snyder had testified before, the Congress and everything at that hearing, at the PMRC hearing and everything. But yeah, that song got them on the 50-15. But Tear It Loose, another speed metal number, which actually features a performance from Fast Eddie Clark of Motorhead, R.I.P. to Fast Eddie Clark as well. Day of the Rocker, it's like a slow bluesy number. It's a good track, not one of my favorites on here, man, but man, definitely check out Under the Blade. If you have never listened to Under the Blade, you are truly missing out on a great heavy metal album. Just so many awesome songs on here. From start to finish, man, this is a great record. I was blown away when I first heard this record because I never knew that Twisted Sister could be that raw and that heavy. And it really gave me even more respect for the band. And it actually is my defense when people try to chalk them up as a glam metal band. I'm like, no, Twisted Sister is not glam metal. If you don't believe me, go check out the album Under the Blade. All right? But, yo, if you've never heard early Twisted Sister, you need to pick this up ASAP. And make sure you get the Armory Records edition because it has the original mix from the Secret Records version, remastered. Don't get the other Atlantic Records remixed version because it's a remix version that polished up and kind of took away from the rawness of this album. So don't get that version. Make sure you can find this version right here. All right. So next album, this is the band's second album. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, released in 1983. Now, a lot of people over here in the States, this album right here was actually their introduction into Twisted Sister because the title track, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, was actually a really big hit over here. Although I think this album was more of a hit, again, over in England. But it was actually their first album on a major label. They got signed to Atlantic Records, the label that hated Twisted Sister with a passion. I mean, if you don't believe me, go check out that documentary. Atlantic Records hated them, but they got signed through the English headquarters of Atlantic Records. After they did a performance on a show over in the UK, I can't think of the name of the show, but Lemmy from Motorhead, he came out there and performed with them and everything like that, and which is considered one of their most legendary performances. But they ended up getting signed. But You Can't Stop Rock and Roll is a really good record. I think it still kind of retains a bit of that heaviness of the previous record, but it does have a somewhat of a more commercial sound to it, but it's still quite a heavy record, man. I still think there was a lot of great songwriting. I think compared to the first album, the songwriting on this record was really fleshed out a lot more. So many great songs on here, man. The Kids Are Back, Like a Knife in the Back, Ride to Live, Live to Ride, which is a great biker anthem. I Am, I'm Me, which was another big hit. The Power and the Glory, which is one of my personal favorites. We're Gonna Make It. Let's see here. All the songs on here. I've Had Enough, I'll Take You Alive, great fast speed metal number. He said, and of course the title track, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, which was a moderate success over here in the States. And which, like a lot of people I know said that You Can't Stop Rock and Roll was what introduced them to Twisted Sister over here. A personal friend of mine told me that You Can't Stop Rock and Roll was his introduction to Twisted Sister. And a great song. The only song on this album that I really do not like is You're Not Alone, Suzette song. It's a ballad that D dedicated to his wife, Suzette. And I understand the whole sentiment behind it, man, but the song's a bit sappy, honestly, man. It kind of breaks up the momentum of the record because the record is a really like pure heavy metal album, and that song kind of just breaks up the whole momentum of the record a little bit, man. I just don't think that song should have been put on here. But in anyways, man, this comes with like three bonus tracks: One Man Woman, Four Barrel Heart of Love, and Feel the Power, all which are great numbers. Actually, I think any one of those three bonus tracks should have been in place of You're Not Alone. But again, great follow-up to Under the Blade. One of my personal favorite Twisted Sister records that I listen to quite a bit, man. So definitely check out this album. Make sure you try to get this version. This is a reissue version that came out back in 2018. Has a whole remastered version of the album that gives it a better sound. I also had a standard CD version of this, but the sound's not very good on there. So make sure you try to get your hands on this version if you can. And let me get a drink of water right quick. All right. So now we get to the last album of my top 3 Twisted Sister albums, and that is none other than Stay Hungry, released in 1984. This is the band's biggest selling album, and it was a huge success. It catapulted the band to be rock stars, super rock stars, man. They went from rocking clubs to rocking stadiums and going on tour with bands such as Iron Maiden and Dio and things of that nature, man. I mean, they really took off with this record. And I guess for hardcore fans, it was a bit of a letdown because, you know, their sound wasn't as light. I mean, excuse me, it wasn't as raw on this record. You could tell that it was getting more polished for commercial appeal. But all in all, Stay Hungry is still a great record. Of course, this album is mainly known for the 2 big hits, which is We're Not Gonna Take It and I Wanna Rock. But aside from that, there's a lot of really good numbers on here. I mean, the first track, Stay Hungry, the title song, kicks off the album. Now, personally, I prefer the live version better. Specifically, the live in San Bernardino show that they did, which you can find on YouTube. That version on there is a lot better. It's a lot more heavier and a lot more aggressive than the album version. But still, it's not a bad way to start off the album. Then, of course, you know, We're Not Gonna Take It. That's the second track. Probably the biggest hit on this record and the biggest hit of Twisted Sister's career. That song just took on a life of its own, and it's still continuing to be. It's still continuing. I mean, you hear it in grocery stores every campaign year. Some political party, some politician is using that song as an anthem for their party or whatever, and their supporters, grassroots organizations, and so forth use it as an anthem for their causes. That song just really just took off, man, and it's actually become one of those songs where I wouldn't care if I didn't hear it anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm pretty sure it was good back in 1984, but now it's kind of like, oh, we're not gonna take it. Wow, it's just one of those songs that it doesn't really have that timeless feel to it anymore. It doesn't really have that personal hold to it because everybody knows the song. People that aren't even into like this type of music know that song, so it kind of dilutes the special appeal of it. But still, it was a huge hit, man, and it still continues to be a huge number even today. Then you got the song "Burning Hell," which is one of the heaviest tracks on this album, one of the heaviest songs on in Twisted Sister's career, in my opinion. Fast speed metal number that harkens back to the Under the Blade days. This song was actually in the Pee Wee's Big Adventure movie. When Twisted Sister had a cameo appearance, they were shooting a music video for it on the Warner Brothers lot when Pee Wee was being chased by somebody. And he like interrupts the video shoot as he rides through there or whatever. But a heavy number with also a positive message too, because the song is about what's gonna happen to you if you don't change from your wicked ways. So a great heavy number with a great positive message. Then you have the Horatoria at the beginning, which is a one song but broken up into 2 parts. A is Captain Howdy, which is about some kind of child killer that gets away with murder or something, and then B is Street Justice, which is you know what street justice is when the streets seek justice on people that get away with these types of things, man. Great, that's a great song right there, man. 2 great songs into one, man. Awesome. Then of course you have I Wanna Rock, which was another one of the big hits. Now personally for me, I can listen to I Wanna Rock a lot more than I can listen to We're Not Gonna Take It. Even though I Wanna Rock was a big hit as well, that song to me still kind of holds its value in some way, if you understand it. I Wanna Rock was a hit, but it wasn't as big of a hit as We're Not Gonna Take It. Like it didn't really just take on a life of its own like We're Not Gonna Take It. I Wanna Rock still holds like a kind of special place, at least for me. I really like the drumming on there. I thought AJ Perro killed those drums. The song just really, I don't know. I just don't get tired of that song like I do We're Not Gonna Take It. I can still listen to I Wanna Rock and still be interested and still want to rock out to it. So it still has its appeal to me. Then you have the song called The Price. Now, that song, that has to be one of the best power ballads of all time, and one of the best power ballads that Twisted Sister ever done. I mean, that song is leaps and bounds way better than You're Not Alone from the previous record. It's not sappy, it's not cringy. It's definitely a song that when it comes on, you don't want to skip to the next song. It's a really great song, and I guess because it's not really a ballad like a love song, kind of like how You're Not Alone was. It's more of like D's talking about the price of fame. He said what inspired him to write that song was when JJ's sister called him and he answered the phone, and they spoke for a little bit, and she asked him how he was doing. He said, "I'm all right. I'm just missing Suzette and the kids," because him and Suzette were having kids at that time. They were married, and she said, "Well, I guess it's just the price you pay," and it made him think like, yeah, that's the price of fame. He's sacrificing spending time with his family, going out on the road with this band, because this was something he always wanted to do, and now that he's doing it, he misses being with his family, but he has to do that in order to provide for him. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's why that song I think is better than You're Not Alone, because it's not really like a love song. It's just D telling you like the price of fame, the price that he's paying, the price that anybody pays, for fame. When they're trying to do their thing out there, man. But just a really awesome power ballad, man, in my opinion. Don't Let Me Down is a really cool song. I think I like the live version better, specifically the same show live at San Bernardino. The Beast is really cool. I like the live version better though from the San Bernardino show. I'm just saying it's just a lot more heavier and aggressive and raw, that live version. Or I wish there was like a CD of that show. I don't think there is, but I wish there was like a CD release of that show. But, I'm not somebody that really likes live albums that much, but I would definitely buy that one and listen to it just to hear some of these songs in the live version. And then there's the last song called SMF. Again, I like the album version, but I do prefer the live version at the same live at San Bernardino show that you can find here on YouTube. I like that live version better though, because it's a bit more raw and heavier, and they extend the ending. The song's longer on the live version because it becomes a chant. This song is an anthem. SMF is stands for Sick Mother Effers of Twisted Sister. That was their fan club back in the day. So this is an anthem for all of them, but also an anthem for anybody that feels like outcast or who may not necessarily fit in with the crowd and so forth. It's an anthem for all people. I think that's why I enjoy it so much, man. If you just listen to the song and really listen to the lyrics to what he's saying, I know when I sat down and listened to the song and listened to the lyrics, it really resonated with me a little bit, which is why I like it so much. But yeah, I do prefer the live version a bit better. But still a great song and a great way to end the album. Although I do wish it was a little bit longer though. But still, Stay Hungry. Yes, it's them going more the commercial route. It's a bit more polished compared to the first two records, but I still think this is a great album. If you look past like you We're Not Gonna Take It and I Wanna Rock, there's not much difference from the previous two records, aside from being just a little bit more radio accessible. But there's still some heavy numbers on here. Lots of great numbers on this album. But again, Twisted Sister, man, one of my favorite metal bands of all time. I wish I would have got to see them live. I don't know if they're ever going to do any more live shows again. The members seem to keep kind of be on the fence about it. D seems to don't want to do it no more. The other members say, hey, there might be a chance. If there is a chance, I hope they come my way, because I definitely want to see them again. Even though AJ Perro's not with them because he passed away back in 2015, that would be a bummer. But if they get Mike Portnoy back on the drums like they did with the last farewell tour they did, I would be satisfied, man. But yes, Twisted Sister, one of the greatest heavy metal bands of all time. A band that I think sometimes gets a little bit underappreciated. But you know what? Definitely check out these albums and even check out the ones they did later. They're not as good as these top three that I named, but there's a lot to like about those records as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you're watching this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up and give me a like. It helps give my video more exposure. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I drop new content. I have other videos such as top 5 list, album reviews, discography breakdowns, albums ranked. Check them out, share them to anybody that you think may be interested. Also, I have links to my social media. I'm more active on IG, but I got links to them down there. Be sure to follow me on there. And as always, I hope everybody has a blessed day and a blessed week. And love, peace, and music. Peace out.